Imagine unlocking an investment that could surge your portfolio return by a staggering 20% compounded annually. A well kept secret by the richest investors in the world. And I'm about to tell you why. So stay tuned until the end for a game changing reveal that you simply cannot afford to miss. Welcome, investors and fellow finance enthusiasts. So, today I want to get into a really beautiful high caliber investment that is making waves across North America. I'm Lincoln, and in this video, we're shining the spotlight on the Canadian National Railway, a titan of industry with a track record of driving substantial dividends and growth. So, fasten your seatbelts, my friends. It's time to go on an lightning ride. Now, in the current economic theatre, where market volatility is the name of the game, nailing down an investment that's going to offer both stability and growth, but it can feel like searching for a needle in a haystack. But there is a massive shift that is happening in the world of savvy investing right now, away from chasing elusive value to prioritizing enduring quality. And that's right, my friends, we're talking about companies so robust and strategically positioned they don't face adversity, they rise above it and conquer it. Now, why should you, as an insightful investor, care about this? Let's get into the story. Okay, so who is Canadian National Railway? CNI. Let's zoom in on this company. But who are they really? So I want you to picture a vast network of steel arteries connecting the heart of commerce over the glistening Pacific throughout to the bustling ports of the Gulf. Now, this is not any old railroad. This is the backbone of the North American economy, and it operates the only transcontinental network that touches all three of the coastlines. Now, CNI has a legacy spanning over a century, and it's not merely about moving goods, it's actually about pushing a whole continent forward. So, as a seasoned investor, we really do need to see that this is the type of a strategic powerhouse that's going to give us opportunity, and that is opportunity with a capital O. So, what makes CNI an appealing investment? Why is it like striking gold in finance? Well, it's simple economic moats. Now, much like medieval castles used to be safeguarded by water filled ditches, CNI's moat is a massive and unique position in the industry where the entry barriers are towering and the competition is indeed very scarce. Now, with a solid stronghold on the critical supply chain infrastructure, CNI promises not just stability, but also a massive helping of predictable growth. And in a world where the unexpected has now become expected, who wouldn't want a piece of that dependency and that dependability? So let's have a good deep look at what makes CNI then a beacon of growth and why it might be a crown jewel in your own investment portfolio with time. First, let's have a look at the market dynamics and some of the opportunity. So, look, even the mightiest of monarchs will face some challenges, and CNI is no different. Now, the market's ebbs and flows have seen CNI's stock take amidst this broader economic headwinds in the industry. So, what do we call a dip in a reputable company stock? We call it an opportunity, everybody. It's an opportunity for an astute investor to capitalize and capture gains that other people and other investors have overlooked. So, in the recent sell offs, CNI's stock has become a little bit more attractive. It's more beckoning now to the wise investors, and it can actually help us sail towards substantial returns once the tide begins to turn. And the tide always turns in favor of moving goods. So we as investors are in it for more than just short-term jitters. We're in it here for the enduring strength of this well-established behemoth. So let's now take a page out of the playbooks of some of the great investment legends. Have you ever heard of Warren Buffett? Of course you have. Now, he doesn't just play the investment game, he sets the standard. Now, as a titan of industry, he has shown massive faith in railway as an industry, and he's put big sums into the sector. And why? Well, the competitive moats are vast and robust. Now, by riding alongside seasoned strategists like Warren Buffett, you can actually align your vision with theirs, a vision of theirs that has withstood the test of time. The signal is loud and clear. When the wealthiest investors look at this industry with favour, it's not a coincidence. It's actually a reason for us to also look at this industry with great interest. So, why CNI? What gives it strategic advantages? Let's get into what sets them apart from the pack. In the chess game of logistics, CNI's network is supreme. Their tracks pump over all of North America, and this makes them absolutely indispensable within trade and commerce. Now, it's not just the coverage that's impressive, it's also the strategic connections to major ports that have positioned CNI as the linchpin within the continental economic growth machine. Now, this isn't chance, it is design. And the advantages that stem from the setup are many. Now, if we factor in the growing trend of nearshoring, bringing manufacturing back into North America, as the North American manufacturing gains momentum, you are going to see a very powerful recipe here for ongoing sustained growth. In a nutshell, CNI isn't just going to move with the times, it's always going to be a step ahead. So, as the world evolves, so too are the returns from this investment. So, let's get into the financials here. The numbers do not lie, as financials are speaking volumes. Now, well, the recent years have actually seen a little bit of growth dipping due to global headwinds.
They do not have the strong starting dividend yield, but have a compelling dividend growth rate and long-term dividend payment track record. The use of debt has slightly reduced the overall shareholder yield, but this still looks reasonable.
For the last 20 years, if you had reinvested your dividends, you would have received a 16% compound annual growth rate, which is actually ahead of the S&P 500's 10% compound growth rate. Now, on top of this, the dividends would have been growing at a compound growth rate of about 17%. However, it's important to note that, of course, the overall yield for CNI is at the moment only about 2% dividend yield. Now, why do I like this company? It has a strong A-minus S&P credit rating. Generally, analysts can predict performance well, and both over 1 and 2 year forward, the company has set analyst expectations for adjusted earnings 91% of the time, showing quite a bit of consistency. When calculating earnings forward for 2024, we're looking at a 10% growth in earnings and following 13% growth in 2025. It's important to note that over the last 6 months, though, analysts have decreased the level of their estimated earnings. It's also important to note that the company does have a 42% debt to capital ratio. CNI is looking ahead with confidence. They're projecting earnings growth of 10 to 15% over the coming years. Now, what's more, this is a company that not only pays dividends but regularly increases them, and that's why this is such an important jewel in the treasure chest of my investment portfolio approach. CNI isn't just committed to maintaining a dividend aristocrat status, it's actually poised then to continue an enduring legacy of robust payout increases and share buybacks, all of which are adding value for shareholders. Now, with a buyback program, they've reduced the outstanding shares by about 30% over the last decade. That's a big driver of fundamental returns for shareholders. And because of the CNI is creating and delivering value for investors. Now, this, along with the healthy dividend yield and dividend growth rate, gives us a beacon here to help us get through the choppy seas in today's tumultuous share market. So I want you to think about your investment game. Is CNI the next cornerstone of your portfolio? Has this insight and discussion today sparked your curiosity or your ambition to take a look at this company? Now, if today's discussion has been interesting to you, if it sparked some thoughts about this company and this investment, take a moment, hit like, hit share, hit subscribe to this channel and get some more financial insight. Also remember, every time you click the button, every time you leave a comment, it helps us to know how we can serve you better. Before we close off, here's a revelation that I promised at the beginning. The power of patience and compounding dividends. CNI is at the crossroads. It's had a resilient business model here, coupled with very powerful shareholder focused practices. By increasing dividends and decreasing the shares outstanding, they're actually setting the stage for long term, strong performance over coming years. So the signs are all there, my friends. It's pointing towards a future where your wise investment decisions today can boom and bring lucrative rewards tomorrow. And with this, I'm going to anchor down on my discussion here on CNI. I'm optimistic about the financial journeys, and this is an investment opportunity that I'm looking to add to our family portfolio.